Now, whoever tells you Arsenal were not lucky in yesterday's game did not watch the game. Seriously, it was that one-sided. United were by far the better team. By far. United were all over Arsenal throughout the game. Right from kickoff all the way to the final whistle, United were the one that looked like they were going to score a goal. Arsenal never looked like they were going to score a goal. And it was a shocking result. 1-0 to Arsenal. They got very lucky and they knew it. Even the fans knew that their team got away with one. And an opening game of the season, getting 3 points, they were over the moon. And United, of course, failed to get those 3 points. And it all came down to one mistake by the goalkeeper. How many times have we said it? We need a new goalkeeper. Welcome to the Man Utd stream. It's Monday morning and we are licking our wounds from yesterday's game. I can't say wounds actually because I was very happy at the end of the game what I saw from United. But the result, of course, was the all-important thing and we didn't get the 3 points and we didn't even get 1 point. I mean, we at least deserved a draw in that game. We were that good. I mean, look, last season when I was watching United play and they were not good, I would openly come out and say United didn't deserve the 3 points or 1 point or whatever it is. I was very real. I was objective. But yesterday's game, I have to say, hands down, United were the better team. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about yesterday's game and who you thought was good, bad. Did United deserve 3 points? Did they not deserve 3 points? Did they deserve at least 1 point? But let's first take a look at Ruben Amorim's starting 11. There was a few shocks in there. There was Casemiro that we weren't expecting to be playing. We thought maybe Ugarte or Manu might be starting. Then we had no Harry Maguire. We had Luke Shaw start as the left centre-back. Again, somewhat surprised. Some people thought he might not be starting. I definitely didn't think he'd be starting, but he did, so that was very good and he had a very good game. Who else? Amad Diallo was not playing. Again, a shock move for me. I definitely thought Amad Diallo would be starting, but he started Dalot, and I can understand why. Defensively, he knew that we needed to keep Arsenal at bay, and therefore Dalot started over Amad Diallo. Who else was starting? Mason Mount. Okay, Mason Mount, some people thought he might not be starting. I definitely thought he wasn't going to start because I thought maybe, just maybe, he might start somebody else like a striker. But we did have the shocking news just before kickoff that Rasmus Højlund was not even part of the United squad. He was up in the director's box watching the game. Absolutely crazy stuff. So he is definitely out of this United squad and team. He's definitely going to AC Milan or somewhere else because that is a massive move by Ruben Amorim by not even having him in the squad. And of course we started with our two new signings of this summer, which was Kuna on the left hand side and we had Mbeumo on the right hand side. Very, very good. Both of them throughout the whole game were just phenomenal. The way they were attacking, what they added to this United team was amazing. They just added flair, they added composure, they added speed. It was just attack, attack and attack. And I genuinely thought there was going to be a chance where we're going to finish off, and the only thing that let United down was the finishing. I think Mbeumo should have scored at least 2 or 3 goals in this game, and also Kuna had 2 or 3 decent chances, one where he ran through about 3 defenders and had a shot on goal. I think if he was a little bit more composed, if he had a little bit more time and he could put some more power behind that shot, and that could have been a goal. Raya, of course, had an amazing game for Arsenal, but we'll touch on goalkeepers in a minute. We all know what's coming in a minute, but let's first discuss the team. Mason Mount, again, had one of his best performances, I believe, in a United shirt. Really well composed. Added so much composure to the game. And just his movement, his work rate, I was really impressed. And I think if we can keep Mason Mount fit, I can see exactly why lots of managers, including Ruben Amorim, love Mason Mount. Now, moving back into our midfield, we had, of course, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. Both had decent games. I thought Casemiro actually had an exceptional game. Some people disagree. Some people said maybe not. I spoke to Adam McCullough just after the game and he said, look, Casemiro looked good, but he did what he normally does. He didn't do anything special, but he had a decent game, but he wasn't anything special. I thought actually he genuinely had a really good game for United. Bruno Fernandes was a little bit quiet. I thought he didn't do as much as he should be doing, but then again, I think he was stifled in the middle with all the Arsenal midfield there, and Zubimendi did a good job on him. And then we had Dogu, who had an amazing game as well, really good game. I think he can really make a difference to this United team. Luke Shaw had a really good game as well. Lenny Euro and of course Dalot had a decent game. Dalot of course came off for Amad Diallo later on in the second half, but overall the outfield team played really well. They had Arsenal under pressure constantly. And then we come to the goalkeeper Altay Bendia, and he had a disaster show. Let's not mince our words. Absolutely awful performance by Altay Bendia in that section of the game. Look, you can't say he was terrible throughout the game, but goalkeepers are not playing the entire game. They have sections where they get called into action, and that's when you need them to perform. They're not in the game constantly, but when they are in the game, you want them to be top notch, 10 out of 10 at all times. And Altay Bendia, at that time when the corner was taken by Declan Rice, he was 1 or 0 out of 10. And those of you out there, our subscribers who've been saying it and reminding us constantly, you know who you are, that we need a new goalkeeper. Hats off to you guys, because you guys saw this coming, didn't you? You saw that we did not have a decent goalkeeper. Now Onana in that same situation might have done something different or not, we're not quite sure, because he's just as bad as Altay Bendia, maybe just slightly better, but he's still a bad goalkeeper, and he still struggled last year with catching the ball from corners. But Altay Bendia's reaction yesterday from the corner kick was just too poor. Weak. What he should have done, and I agree with Roy Keane with this, which is he should have come out and taken out Saliba. Who gives a crap? It would never have been given as a foul. The ref would never have said that it was a foul on Saliba if Altay Bendia came out and took him out, him and the ball. That's what he should have done. He should have punched the ball hard as possible and not given a crap about Saliba. That's what you do, and that's exactly what Raya did later on in the game. That is the difference between top goalkeepers. And yes, maybe Onana would have had the experience, the Premier League experience, to make a meal out of the challenge by Saliba. Maybe he would have gone down, maybe he would have gone in more aggressive, but that goal should not have happened, and it was against the run of play. Absolutely awful. You knew as soon as that goal went in, it was going to be an uphill struggle, because Arsenal, one thing they are good at is defending, keeping the ball out. Their defence is very good, and the goalkeeper we saw is very good, and despite United having so many chances, they kept the ball out of the net. I mean, look, there was exceptional play from United, and there's lots and lots of positives to look at. I mean, in fact, I was actually happy with the way United played. Not the result, but I was happy with the way United played. I can see us causing a lot of trouble for teams going forward, but defensively we still have issues. We've got about 2 weeks left before the transfer window closes, and it's obvious United need to go out there and get a new goalkeeper. Donnarumma is off to City. We already know that. Whether he was even going to come to United, I'm not quite sure, but we need someone of that class at United. Is there a top goalkeeper available right now? We know Emi Martinez from Aston Villa is begging to get out of the club. He's asked his agent to find somebody, and United need to go and get someone like him. Someone who's got the presence, someone who's got the know-how of how to defend against these kind of corners and the physicality needed in the Premier League. Altay Bendia is not one of those guys, and neither is Onana. We know that, the fans know that. Now, we did hear from Ruben Amorim yesterday in the post-match press conference, and it wasn't good. He was actually very aggressive. He was actually very angry, not seeing Ruben Amorim like this. I mean, and he was very defensive, and it was all about Altay Bendia, Onana, and the goalkeeping situation. And Amorim came and defended both Altay and Onana, saying that they're both very good goalkeepers, and he didn't know what the hell we were all talking about, the journalists included. But I'm not quite sure what he meant by that. Look, he could be doing what all managers do, which is protect their players, which is fine, but he has to know, genuinely, I'm sure he does. I'm sure genuinely deep down he knows that we need a better goalkeeper. Hence why they were even looking at a new goalkeeper, and hence why they even made a loan move for Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. He's not going to come out and say that. Of course, he's not going to say, look, my goalkeepers are completely terrible and we need new goalkeepers, because he might have the rest of the season with these goalkeepers. He might have already been told by the board that they're not going to make any investment in a new goalkeeper until they don't sell Onana or Altay Bendia. Maybe that's the situation, and he knows it, that we're not going to get a new goalkeeper in this season. So he has to back Onana and he has to back Altay Bendia. But in big games, it's these little things that make the huge difference. And Altay Bendia, if we had a decent goalkeeper, that would never have gone in, and it might have been a completely different story for United. We might have walked away with all 3 points. We would have still been pumped. We were absolutely amazing in yesterday's game, but the goalkeepers let us down. One player on the entire team let us down, and that just tells you how important it is to make sure all your 11 players are on top of their game. And if they're not, we need to bring in somebody else. And look, the goalkeeper situation, we've been saying it for months and years. Onana isn't good. The reserve goalkeeper isn't good. We need better goalkeepers. Another position that we need reinforcements is, of course, in the CDM position. Bruno Fernandes, in yesterday's game, we saw he goes wandering off. He's not a CDM, and Casemiro is left all alone to deal with everything that goes on in the midfield, and he hasn't got the legs or the presence to deal with such things. That's why, even though he had a decent game, that's why we needed someone like Baleba. Of course, Baleba's out of the picture. There's discussions about Adam Wharton and others, but again, I can't see United going out there and spending big on a player that they've not really looked at and not first choice players. They're not going to go and spend over 70 million on Adam Wharton. I can't see that happening. I'd love to see them go and sign somebody, because we do need a CDM, and we do not want to enter this season and complaining about goalkeepers and CDMs and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want this to be a reoccurring theme. I don't want to be putting post-match reactions discussing goalkeepers and discussing CDMs. I want to be discussing goals. I want to be discussing progression. Look, there was progression. Let's look at the positives. Yes, it was positive. It was a very, very good game. We just need to tweak a few little things, and United could be a force to be reckoned with. That is it for today's show, guys. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you subscribe. You're watching the Man United Stream channel by the fans for the fans.